Hi and welcome back to Grace Gardening. So I haven't been able to get down to the plot just as much as I wanted to. It's been too hot. I've had loads going on in work and the kids awards dues and all that have kind of taken over. But I've come down this morning. I did come down yesterday, but it was just too hot. It was 35 degrees and probably 10 degrees hotter inside the polytunnel and the greenhouse. So I've come down nice and early today just to get a few jobs done. So I want to just quickly take you around and show you what's been going on and get a few jobs done while I'm here. So in the background over here is what I'm calling my corn cage. This has been designed to stop the rabbits or rats, whatever it was, eating my sweet corn. Every year I grow my sweet corn, and when they get about a foot high, something chews them to the ground. This might be a common thing for many of you too. So I built this corn cage out of these polycarbonate sheets that I had. Problem is, there's also pumpkins in here and they can't get out. They're all wrapped up inside. It's getting a bit compact, apart from the odd couple that have actually tried to make a run for it and come up and over the top. We've got a nice pumpkin starting there and an even bigger one here, and no doubt there'll be lots more inside there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this front piece so the pumpkins can basically come out and all over this area and probably end up in this bed that really does need a good weed anyway. There is more pumpkins in there, and there's actually a courgette over here, and there's beetroot which aren't doing too good, so they're going to get, so I don't mind the pumpkins going over all of there. I don't want them going out the back way because this is what I call my blackberry wall, and I want to be able to get in here easily to be able to pick all these blackberries. As you can see, there is an awful lot, but they're looking lovely now. I think these are quite early for this time of year, but they will do us quite nicely. I'll start picking them probably today. They go on for as far as I can possibly reach. They're even all up there as well. The blackberry wall. So yeah, just going to take off that front piece. I'm going to keep the back bits on, just in case the rabbits or rats do continue to eat my sweet corn. But I think they are quite big now. They are starting to form their first corns. Just down here is where they form. So that's the first sweet corns starting. Each one's got a nice sweet corn on it. You'll see that there. So I'm hoping if I take the front off, then all the pumpkins can go that way. My soft fruit cage, or the netting over it, has really done well. That's helped protect it. I'll take that off. But there's lots of red currants, and raspberries and gooseberries, red gooseberries in there. I don't know whether you can quite see them. I'll take that off shortly. I'm going to come over here. Here's the one random raspberry cane that grew in this bed, and it has got some nice raspberries on it. Oops. The Golden Delicious apple tree, doing wonderful. They're nice. Probably the most apples I've ever had off this tree. Looking really, really good. And there's no marks on them this year. I got rust or whatever it was called, some kind of speckled thing on the apples. They were still fine to eat, but they just didn't look too nice. So there must be a good 100 maybe this year. Look at them, they're looking delicious. Just next to me here, I think the sunflowers have gone over now. They're starting to droop a little bit, but I'll let the sunflower seeds form. Look at this one. These are the best sunflowers I've ever grown, so I'm quite happy with them. But I think they are probably finished. And then in here, I've taken my eye off some of the courgettes because they're becoming a little bit large. I took some off yesterday. They are too big, really. Need to get them when they're smaller. Again, just like the apples, the pears are doing really well. These are the conference pear. I do love a juicy pear. But again, lots and lots of pears on this tree. Yeah, thank you for that. Noisy helicopter. Here's my other blackberries. These are Blackberry Black Butte, apparently is the name of them. And they are every year really tasty, really juicy and pretty large. Again, I'm going to be able to pick a load of these today. There's tons and tons of them. I think this must be the year for blackberries. Here we've got a number of pots. Some of these I need to really sort out for next year. But here is the Chilean guava. Hopefully you can just see the Chilean guavas just starting. They grow to the size of about a blueberry, but they taste a cross between an apple and a pineapple. So lots of Chilean guavas on there. They're looking good. Here's the dog's arse tree, or the dog's arse fruit, otherwise known as the medlar. But you can see each one of those fruits does look like a dog's bottom, which is why it does get its nickname, the dog's arse fruit tree. So I don't know how much bigger they go, but I'll be keeping an eye on those because I want to try these this year. Apparently they're not done until the first frost, so maybe I've still got a while to go, but I lost them all to the birds last year. So we try again. My apricots in bags trick has worked. You can see that there's a nice big apricot, and I put the bag on it so that the birds can't get it, and it's ripening nicely in the bag. Still quite hard at the moment, so I think I'll leave it on, but we've got about 5 or 6 still ripening nicely on the tree. There's a couple more in there, and the bag trick has worked. Likewise, we'll just come over to the fig tree. Each of these figs is also in a bag so that the birds don't get them. There's 5 figs in that bag, and they're just growing and swelling up nicely. I reckon 2 more weeks I'll be able to get some of these figs, but they'll be ripening in the bag. I'll then take the bag off and pick them, but I'm not losing my figs to the birds this year. I do leave the odd one out for them, so the birds can have 1 or 2. Just come back through the archway. My kiwis are still beginning to grow and swell. They really do feel like a kiwi now. It's quite funny to see how these are grown, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's a few up there. I think there's about 6 altogether, and the kiwi vine is continuing to grow. I think it's going to go up and along there next year. I might have some more kiwis. We'll just go back through the archway. They were 2 new bananas that I put in last year, just to create a bit of further arch. There's more figs. Bananas looking in all their glory. Can't complain, apart from that leaf looks a bit shredded. Look at the size of that leaf there. Oh my word. A nice shade off that one. Perfect leaf. A few more pears. I'll put a few of them in the bags just to see if it makes any difference. Probably, I don't lose many pears to the birds, but some of these are really weighing the tree down. Now I'm going to have to maybe secure that in some way, but again, a load more pears. Looking really nice. Look at that one, that's a whopper. That's going to be a nice pear. And then if we just go inside the polytunnel, it is warming up now. Got some tomatoes. These are the tumbling variety. So they stay very compact and they produce masses of small tomatoes. The blueberries finished, you can go outside. Just like the Japanese wineberry, I've had to leave the door open, so something's been in and stole all my Japanese wineberries, probably a little birdie. I've got some cucumbers here. And last year, everyone said that cucamelons are fun to grow. Literally every comment was, they're fun. And I didn't understand why everyone said they were fun. However, when I look at them, they basically just send out tendrils everywhere. But I think I think we've got our first little cucamelon. I think that must be it. So no doubt I'll get lots of them soon. And I think there's actually down in there is a different type of melon. That's the snack melon. So we shall see. Now I don't know if how many of you are growing melons this year, but look at this. My melons have gone bananas. Absolutely crazy, and they're growing everywhere. I can't see any fruit starting yet, but the bees have come in to pollinate them. So no doubt I'll start getting some melons soon, but just looking through all that, these are a tangled mess. I'm just going to have to leave them now to do their thing, and hopefully I'll get some melons. Strawberries are still coming nicely. We'll be picking those today, little snack as I work. My peppers haven't done much. They're small and probably won't produce any peppers now. Don't know why. Don't know why I didn't do much. But my chilies are growing well. These are the cayenne pepper chilies. They've got the flowers on them. Hopefully they get pollinated, and then each of those will become its own chili. So they're doing all right. In fact, I've just seen some chilies. Wow, didn't see that one. There we go. Some nice chilies already growing in there. I think they go red. So yeah, in fact, at the back there's a few more cayenne chilies. It's fine. Strawberries mostly finished now. That's going to be a real big strawberry shelf next year. But some of these in the pots, I've got a few more still coming, and lots of flowers. In fact, that one's still going to produce a lot of strawberries. Yeah, they've been a bit late, some of these, but better late than never. Plenty of strawberries there. And then coming back outside, let's go inside the greenhouse, which is like a jungle right now. Everything has exploded. We've got tomatoes. This side, there's the grow bag ones, which I think so far grow bags are beating the pot varieties. Well, they're exactly the same variety, just they're grown in pots. On the right hand side, left hand side is in grow bags. But I think, to be honest, they're probably catching each other up now. These are in pots. They've actually got tomatoes forming, and in fact it's the same that side. Lots of tomatoes all starting to come together. They're very compact. I'm a bit worried this year we might get blight. I don't know how to thin them out because I think I've grown too many, but fingers crossed we'll be okay. I have got plenty of ventilation. Again, more melons, cucumbers, cucamelons, even a pomegranate over here, and we may well be getting pomegranates this year. They seem to be swelling now, so that'll be nice. Again, more melons all over the floor. These have gone quite crazy. I can't see any actual melons starting yet, but here we go. We've got our first cucumber. In fact, we've got a couple. There's a nice long one, and this one I think is ready to be harvested. See if I can do this one-handed. There we go. That's not a bad first cucumber. Picking them early means the skin doesn't go too hard and tough and bitter. So that is going to be a lovely cucumber. And yet, these are growing up high. In fact, there's loads. There's loads. Look how high it's gone. We're nearly at the top. Just shows how healthy these plants are. But I've probably got too many. Again, these are grown in pots. Let's see any more. Just the baby ones starting off. I'm liking the polytunnel. These are the cucamelons. Yeah, we've got a few starting now. Well, you can see that. There we go. Yeah, I can understand why people say fun, but a little bit too crazy. They're just growing on everything. So there's melons and cucumbers mixed together, and then the front is all about the tomatoes. As you can probably see, the grapevine has also gone a bit too mad now. Look at these tendrils here. These need to come off. The grapevine itself is blocking the light. I'll show you up there. Look how dark that is. So today I'm going to thin that out. Let me just show you outside. We've even got the grapevine coming out through the gaps in the panes of glass. Now, if I don't trim these off, they'll swell and then they'll soon just break the glass. So you can see lots of it in there. Really, in fact, that's already broken, but I've got to take some of that off. So I'm going to get on with that job first before it gets too hot in there. And then I shall take off that front panel to let the pumpkins escape. So it's really quite easy to trim a grapevine. You just look for the shoots that you don't want growing. Make sure there's no bunch of grapes on it. Like I don't want to go taking that one off. So follow it all the way up to where it connects to the main stem and then just snip it. Make sure you got nice clean secateurs. And then go around finding all the extra new shoots. In fact, look at that one. That one's the one going up through into the greenhouse panes of glass. If I had left that in there, that would have swollen and smashed the glass. So that's definitely coming off, at least from there. And then I'm going to follow it all the way in there because I don't want this one. Again, snip it there. This is the third trim of the grapevine I've given it this year. So I'm going to get on with that now and I'll show you how it looks afterwards. Just to give you an idea of how jumbled and tangled it can all get. There's no light getting in there. That is so tightly packed. And the only grapes actually come off this truss in front here. So as long as I protect that and don't cut the main stem, this will now let loads of light into this back part of the greenhouse. Also, don't be afraid to take off some of these big leaves. They can block a lot of sunlight, and the plant, as long as you leave plenty on, you can take off some of these big ones, no problem at all. Okay, so let's check this out. We have light once again. The end of the greenhouse, we can see I've cleared all of the top. I've just literally left one main trailing stem here, which will eventually go to the very end. It's lucky I did manage to break this one off because it's so tight in between the pane of glass. If I try and pull that out, I might actually snap it or smash the glass even. So that is lucky I got that when it did, because it will have just continued to swell and swell until it did smash it. You can see these other pieces there. Nice little tendril there. But no, they will smash the glass. If I just spin it around that way, we can now see so much more light. That's the little area that there were the two bunches of grapes. And now it's all being cleared, but with the main structure still in place. So you can see this is a new one. I've got that one going this year, which will go all the way around and off here next year. Each of these buds will produce its own bunch of grapes. Some of the older wood like this, that's the structure that does still carry all the water throughout the plant, but there's not that many grapes that come off it anymore. So you do need a new one from time to time. But I've still left plenty of leaves on so it can continue to photosynthesize. But as you can see, here's the nice big bunches of grapes. They'll continue to swell up now. They can get the light. The rest of the greenhouse can get the light. I've trimmed back some of these tomatoes as well, just to give them a bit more airflow also. But this is really important this time of year. You want to make sure there's plenty of airflow in your greenhouse. plenty of light, because even when your tomatoes start to form, you will want those to ripen up, and they will need the sunshine for that. Finally, just want to show you. Also, you don't have to throw away all the pieces you cut off, all the new vines. These make perfect cuttings. So if you just trim them off, probably to about this height, make sure you know which way around it is, and then pop them into some gritty soil. Just pop them down the side. That will work nicely. That's just demo. This is one that I actually grew last year, exactly the same way. Popped in one of the offcuts, and now it's its own vine. That's ready to go in the ground somewhere. And there's another one I took. Dead easy. Just place the cutting down the side of the pot, nice and deep. That will likely root and become its own grapevine. Probably 50 bunches of grapes in there, which is really good result, a good harvest. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Towards the end of August, I'm going to be juicing these grapes. Yes, I'll eat plenty of them, but I'm going to be creating my own juice. I'm going to buy a juicer, and then we'll see exactly what that grape juice is like. Will I have enough? How much will it produce? I don't know, but there's plenty of bunches in here. And this is now, as I say, the third trim of the year. I've also purchased this solar fan, which is going to be going up at the back of the greenhouse here. This is an open window. I've taken the glass out so that can actually force the air all the way through and out the door. Just have a quick look in there. So there's the fans. Underneath is the solar panel. So I shall be setting that up in a future video. Okay, so as promised, it's now time to release the pumpkins. I've only nailed this piece in, so I'm hoping I can just knock it off. Should come out quite easily. He says, oh, we've got pumpkins growing over nails. Got to be careful here because of this pumpkin. I want to go knocking that. And then move out the way a little bit. Yes. Okay, so that's the idea. The front panel is off. And now I think the pumpkins, let's give them a helping hand, should be able to grow out of here now. Give them a bit more space. This one I think will be good to come out, but it's all connected on, so I'm actually going to leave that one as it is. But now I can get into this. I think I'll give it a little bit of a weed. Okay, that's the front off. I do hope I'm not going to now regret this, because now there's access to all these corn that the rabbits or rats or squirrels or whatever was eating them can now easily get in. If I come down here in a couple of days and they've all gone, I shall let you know. But I'm hopeful that they are stronger now, maybe a bit too tall as well. And now that the corns are beginning to start, there's a good one, nice little fluffy head. And now the pumpkins can escape. I did find another pumpkin in this bed. There it is. Oh, it's a beauty. That one is really starting off nicely now. So I think I'm going to have a bumper pumpkin harvest. In fact, there's another one over here This one wasn't even meant to be in this bed. This was meant to be a courgette. Must have got us mixed up. And there is another beauty. So you're best just leaving them where they grow. They seem to know where they like to grow best. And I do need to get that courgette out. Oh, there's two of them. Get them out because they're too big. They can go on the compost heap. Here's a good job to do. This is my plum tree. And as you can see at the base, these are what's known as suckers. And you've got to remove them because they're taking all the life and energy away from the main tree, and they're likely coming off the whatever rootstock it was put onto. So I'm just gonna, hopefully my secateurs can get through this. Yes, there we go. Let's remove them. And that one. Most fruit trees, because they're being grafted onto a different type of rootstock, whatever it might be, a dwarf tree, a fast growing tree, whatever it is. This is a plum tree that's obviously being grafted onto a different type of tree, and you remove those. So because this is the plum tree, I now want all the energy and strength to go into ripening my plums. There's a good one, and there's two that are put inside the fruit bags, just in case those pesky birds decide to eat them all before I do. But normally I can leave the plums and I'm okay. I'll get them after they ripen up. Again, the same thing has happened on my apricot tree. In fact, some of these suckers are huge, size of that. They all come right from the base, so I need to just take all of those off too, which I'll snip away at now. What type of a butterfly is that then? Sitting on my tomato plants. I hope it's not one that infects them. Right, hope you've enjoyed that quick tour of the allotment and what's going on. Remember, if you want to see how that new solar fan goes up, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Bye now.